The capacity building course on Sustainable Development Goal 14 entered its penultimate day. The day began with a recapitulation video of day 8, followed by brief presentations from two participants, Mr. KLD Nilanka and Ms. HMD Silva, who shared their experiences and learnings of the previous day. During the technical session, Mr. Michael Arbuckle, fisheries expert from New Zealand, took the participants through the complex framework of ocean governance. He explained the ocean governance framework, starting with the UN Law of the Sea, and said that the countries can meet the SDG 14 objectives through the framework of the UN Law of the Sea and its derivative, the Regional Fisheries Management Organizations, or the RFMOs.
So, in general terms, the United Nations Fish Stock Agreement enhanced UNCLOS's legal framework by kind of better defining the rights and responsibilities of coastal state and distant fishing nations, and particularly this idea that they should cooperate under the types of bodies like the Indian Ocean Tuna Commission, Regional Fisheries Management Organizations.
In the next presentation on fisheries subsidies, Dr. Arthur Neeland started by explaining that although fishing subsidies can be difficult to define, subsidies in general represent a transfer of funds from the public to the private sector, which helps to artificially support the profit of firms. Most importantly, certain harmful subsidies, such as fuel subsidies, are a key driver of fisheries overexploitation, or the so-called race to fish, by lowering fishing costs.
In September 2015, under the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, countries have committed to prohibit by 2020 subsidies that contribute to overcapacity and overfishing, and eliminate subsidies that contribute IUU fishing also. So this is a very, very definite target, but as we will see, actually implementing the mechanisms to realize that target is very challenging and very difficult.
He said that globally, subsidies are valued at over USD 35 billion per year, equivalent to 30 to 40% of the value of global fish landings. Mr. Philip Townsley made the final technical presentation of the day on stakeholder engagement. He presented 3 short case studies illustrating different levels of stakeholder engagement in the process of developing management plans for fisheries taken from India, the Maldives, and the United Kingdom. The failures and successes in these case studies highlight the importance of stakeholder engagement in decision making about fisheries.
That outside the area controlled by this organization, they have what we would call a restricted open access fisheries. In other words, you pay a nominal license fee, and just about anybody who satisfies certain criteria is able to go and fish scallops in other areas outside this fisheries management zone. The performance, i.e. the returns on the fishing inside this fisheries management zone compared with outside, is 7 times better.
In the post-lunch session, the participants performed 2 role plays. In the first role play on curbing plastic pollution, 2 participants playing the role of fisheries officers engaged with fishers in enlisting their support to keep the coast clean and avoiding littering of plastics.
මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් අඩු කරන ප්ලාස්ටික් භාවිතය ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරන ඒවා නැවත පාවිච්චියට ගන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට සැලැස්මක් හදන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම හදලා අපි ඒක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න
අපි ඔක්කොම ඕන දෙයකට එනවා මහත්තයෝ ඕන වෙලාවක කියන්නේ.
ඒක තමයි අපිට ඕනේ.
අපි එහෙනම් දැම්මම දාසියෝ දැම්මම දෙන්න අවුලයි කරන්න ඕනේ.
වෙන එකතු කරලා පැත්තකින් තියලා පරිස්සම් තියාගන්න වතුර එකතු වෙන්න නැති වෙනවා. ප්ලාස්ටික් වෙනමයි ලාන්සීට් මේ වෙනමයි දිරන්නේ නැති ඒවා වෙනම වෙනවා.
දාසියෝ දැම්මම වැඩි පටන් ගන්නවා. දිරනේ
එකතු කරලා ඒවා වාදනයකට දාලා තියෙනවා මේ
Then the government officers explained the importance of avoiding using of plastic and polythene under this importance. Under this importance, the government officers said that about 80% of ocean pollution occur due to land-based activities, and in these activities, plastic and polythene leads to ocean pollution. And also the decay time of the plastic and pollution is very high. So we make aware the fishermen about all those things.
The second role play on managing fishing effort depicted the crisis faced by the fishers from lower catches due to excessive fishing effort. In this role play also, 2 participants played the role of fisheries officers who went to the community to discuss with them the need to reduce fishing effort so that their incomes would improve and the fisheries would also remain sustainable.
සුරංගනීට මාළු ගෙනවා මාළු මෙ දැන් ගෙනාපු මාළු සුරංගනීට මාළු ගෙනවා රෙද්ද සුරංගනීගේ රෙද්ද සුරංගනීගේ දිලිසෙන රෙද්ද මාළු මෙ දැන් ගෙනාපු මාළු සුරංගනීට මාළු ගෙනවා
يعني මාව ගන්න අතර සල්ලි නැහැ කියලා. මහත්තුරු මාව ගන්න අතර බෝඩ් රෙජිස්ටර් කරලා නැහැ. ඒ වුණාට දැන් ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එකේ මහත්තයා ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් කරලා නැහැ කියලා. මේක කරන්න බෑනේ මහත්තයෝ තියෙන නීතියක් විතරක් අපි ඔක්කොම ගිහිල්ලා දාන්න මොකද්ද ලොකප් එකේ. ලොකප් එකේ දාන්න ඊපස්සේ අපිට හේ ගන්න පොඩ්ඩක් තියලා ඉන්න පුළුවන්. ආයෙත් යන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ කෑ ගැහුවට ප්‍රශ්න විසඳෙන්නේ නැහැ. කෑ ගැහුවට නම් ප්‍රශ්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. කියන්නේ මට මහත්තුරු ගාවට විසඳු මොකක්ද කියලා. දැන් අපිට මේ අතන මුදලක් කියලා වැඩක් නෑ හැදෙන්න ඕනේ. කොටින්ම කියනවා නම් කියන්නේ ඒක නේ. ඒක හොඳ වැඩක්.
මහත්තයාට කියන්න දැන් නම් සල්ලි නෑ. අපේ මිනිහත් එක්ක මං එන්න කාලේ අම්මෝ මෙන්න සල්ලි උතුරනවා.
ඒ කාලේ මූදේ මාළු හිටියනේ.
අපරාධ දුක්
ඒ කාලේ මූදේ මාළු හිටියා. ආයේ කියන්නේ ඕසෙට.
तो ඒ කාලේ බෝට්ටු කීයක් තිබුණාද ඒ කාලේ? ඒ කාලේ බෝට්ටු තිබුණේ නැද්ද?
බෝට්ටු කිව්වත් තිබුණේ ඒ කාලේ.
ඕටේ අපිට හදවත හංගෙදේ ගාමිණීන්ගේ යගේ බෝට්ටු.
දැන් 10 ගුණයටත් වැඩිය වැඩි.
ඒක ඉතින් හොඳයිනේ සර්.
මිනිස්සුන්ගේ අතර කීයක් හරි ආවම බෝට්ටු හදනවා. දැල් ගන්නවා යනවා මූදු. වෙන ඉතින් මොකෝ අපි ඔෆිස් එකේ ගියා. ඔයලත් එක හරියට ලියන්නේ කන්තෝරුවේ.
අපි ඉතින් ත්‍රිවිල් වල වගේ බෝට්ටු රස්සාවට දාන්නේ.
ඒක තමයි අපේ ප්‍රශ්නේ.
ඉතුරුත් බලන් ඉන්නේ බෝට්ටු ටික වැඩි එක.
Two officers celebrated the benefits that they will get from achieving those shared objectives, which will lead to sustainable development. And those are like gear restrictions, time management for fishing, like introduce a timetable for fishing, as well as create management plan, reduce illegal fishing gears, introduce alternative livelihoods, and implement a two-way contribution from the both sides.
After the two role plays, Mr. Philip Townsley commented on the role plays and gave his views.
I felt that the first group, it was a bit of a lecture on plastics. Maybe. In the second group, I didn't understand, but you were asking them questions most of the time, I think. Is that true? And I thought there's a good principle there. Even, I mean, of course, you wanted to communicate about the problems of plastics, which they didn't understand in the first group. But it's very important, I think, to try to get people to talk about what they know and see, and ask questions to lead them until they say, now I understand. If you just give them a lecture, in one ear, out the other, usually.
In both the role plays, the participants enacted very well, making the event very interesting and also informative.
වල පොතු මාළුව ඇඟලේ වඩවයි මම නෑ කියන්නේ බේගල් වල් කර කර ඉන්නේ ඇයි තව ඔතාලා දෙන්නද මේබල්.
With this and with the wonderful 9 days behind us, let us now break for a cup of tea, and then the time is yours. Thank you very much. With this, the day's proceeding concluded and the participants returned back to the hotel.